Welcome back to another episode of the Scoop Around the Loop. We have Andrew here with us today. Andrew, how is your day going? I'm assuming that means good. You are muted. Tyler, we have Tyler with us here today. Tyler, how's your day going?
My day is going good. I'm a bit swollen from getting into poison ivy, but all things considered, I'm all right.
Okay. And we have Brady here with us. Brady, how is your day going?
It is going fantastic. Thomas, how's your day going?
I cannot complain. Sydney, if you're not going to be on the podcast, don't talk in the background.
Actually, what the heck is this?
Let's pull the Band-Aid and talk about Iowa State. I'm going to let the victors talk about it first. Andrew, feelings, thoughts?
I mean, I think the better team won. Sometimes you think, the team got lucky. I think there's a lot of things Iowa State overcame in that game. I don't know. Like, Iowa State should have beat him by 20, and that's just the reality of it. I don't care. Any Hawks sympathizers want to disagree with me. They should have beat him by 20. Hawks kept it close like they always do, though. Credit to them. There was some questionable officiating
On both sides.
I mean, it was more egregious on the Iowa side. Did you see?
I would agree with that.
Did you see the first field goal that Iowa made?
It looked like it barely went in if it went in.
So Iowa State had a video of a recap, and they showed a video angle that they hadn't shown in the game, and that's the only angle they showed. And the ball is literally at best slightly in the plane of the field goal uprights. Otherwise, it's directly over it, which is no good because the uprights extend vertically indefinitely. So shouldn't have counted. There's the kick catch interference that was picked up, kind of changed momentum. Regardless of all that,
the right team won.
The right team won, and it's just one of those games where I don't think in the history of that series you can ever really take away too much from that game as it relates to the rest of the season. I just think like Iowa doesn't play a lot of teams like Iowa State, and Iowa State doesn't play a lot of teams that are like Iowa. And I think, the Big Ten, you have a lot of schools that are very cold climates. So it's a different style of football. And so it's just one of those where it's just like get the win and get out and move on. And so I like where Iowa State's headed.
Tyler.
Yeah, overall, like Andrew said, the better team won for sure. My biggest takeaway from this game is the Hawkeyes suck, and so do their fans.
Jeez.
And I don't feel sorry for them whatsoever. I hope they continue to suck, and I hope their fans continue to cry about how bad they suck. And that's it. And all my life, at no point in my life have the Hawkeyes sucked worse as an overall program on all accords than they do right now. So as a Cyclone fan and a certified Hawkeye hater, I'm feeling good right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really disagree with anything you guys said. I think Iowa State clearly played better. Iowa was in it.
You agree what he said about the fans?
Some Iowa fans suck. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think I suck, but I think some Iowa fans suck.
You're decent, Tommy.
Like Andrew said, you can't really take a lot out of it. Because it's a rivalry game and it's a different style that Iowa's not going to play a lot. I will say I went into the season thinking they were going to lose this game, but given how that looked and Iowa's injuries, I don't really know how the season's going to turn out for them. So that'll be kind of interesting, but they're still going to play the games, so we'll just see what happens.
I think it's really good. I mean, I think that's a really good point too, because Ostranga he had I think he tore his Achilles or something.
Yep, so he's out for the year.
On that play that got broken up, and it didn't look like anything to me. So it's seems like kind of a fluky thing, unfortunate thing, and then Moulton being out, and then at one point, I don't know their names. At one point, one of the starting linemen was out for the rest of the game.
Dunker was out for the last 4 plays of the game.
And so, and then Moulton being out. And then, of course, I mean, you guys really don't have any threats at wide receiver.
Vandersie's still going to be out for about 3 more weeks.
So I think, I think that kind of changes it a little bit. Iowa State was really pretty healthy. They've got some wide receivers that are probably better than like Eskelson. I can't even say his last name either. But other than that, I think they were pretty healthy. So I think that helped a lot in that game.
Yeah. And I think, if there's not many positives for Iowa, I don't think they look that good, but I think if there is a positive
Defense.
Is Iowa State has a great quarterback and a good offense, and they held them to that many points. And
I think that's a big positive for Iowa, but again, it just comes back to like that's always a positive for Iowa, so they're not getting any better.
But there was doubts about how good Iowa's defense legitimately was going to be this year. And
I think the doubt was, are they number 1 in the country like they were with Cooper DeJean and Riley Moss, or are they a good defense, which I think they're a good defense.
They're a top 25 defense.
Yeah, they're not number 1 team in the country type of defense, but that's hard to do.
So who knows? Brady, the somewhat non-biased person, what did you think of the game?
Oh, he's a Cyclone. Don't let him compete. No, he's a Cyclone. Brady's Notre Dame first.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be just a way better game, and it's just always sloppy. Rivalry games are like that, but it's obviously you can only have so many transfer quarterbacks that are good before you can keep blaming the quarterback, and that's not the real reason the team sucks.
About that, I was thinking about this, and I want to get some Iowa State fans' opinion on this. Iowa should just give up this whole transfer quarterback thing, right? Like, just take that $2 million and try to get a wide receiver or try to get an elite defensive end or a cornerback. Like, spend the money elsewhere. Like, it doesn't matter who we have at quarterback. Like,
I would agree with that, but I also think like until the scheme changes,
the scheme has changed. I'm so tired of this. The scheme has changed. It is a different offense than it was 3 years ago.
They're still running the 5-yard outs, and
right, but they're running a slow mesh. They're running RPOs. The scheme has changed.
Which that slow mesh, that was dangerous for a little bit, but then again, Cyclones just adjusted.
I don't know. I think they probably you can't get wide receivers because the wide receivers don't trust that they're going to get the ball.
Right.
And
that is a real issue.
Are you going to bring people in? Are you going to get people in?
Right. And the interesting thing about that is when Lester was at Western Michigan, he would routinely have a wide receiver get drafted every year and a wide receiver have a great season. So it's just a question of like, do they just need to get that one guy in, have him have a good season, and change the narrative a little bit? So that's kind of my thoughts and my kind of wondering. But like, if they do this whole spend a bunch of money on a quarterback thing again, I'm going to kind of roll my eyes. And Gronowski has 10 more games. And I'm not completely sold on the fact that he's going to look that bad the rest of the season. But, we'll see.
I don't know.
He can't run. He can't keep running like he has been.
Yeah, no. I think things are going to – what up, Jen Knapp? You can't hide from nothing. I do think that Oregon is going to –
it's going to be bad.
Those dudes inside out.
Yeah.
It's going to get ugly.
When you look at the rest of their season, it's like if this is going to get really bad, it's really going to come down to the Indiana and USC and Nebraska games. If they can't win 2 out of 1 of those games, it's going to be a really ugly season because
for what it's worth, Thomas, I will – even after I said what I said about my reactions to the game, I will be rooting for the Hawkeyes against Nebraska. As the weeks go by, the more and more I cannot stand Matt Rule. He gets under my skin. I can't stand him.
Okay. We pulled the Band-Aid. We talked about Iowa State. Oh, I guess I have one more question for you guys. Iowa State is still only the 4th favorite to win the Big 12. Is Vegas wrong?
I don't know. Their wins are not good wins. Like
just because of the way Kansas looks now?
Kansas State lost to Army, who lost to Tarleton State. They barely beat North Dakota. South Dakota, which was supposed to be a really good FCS school, went down to Lamar University in Beaumont, Texas, and lost like 13-0 or something like that. And then Iowa, like I've stated multiple times, sucks. So like their wins aren't that good. So I can't really argue with that. I think I need to see them beat Arizona and win a Big 12 road game.
Yeah, I think too, like having I think if their road and a home schedule was flipped, I would see it more 4th best. But I think they got the favor, the homes they need, the games they need at home, they got at home. So I could still see them, winning out. Honestly, I think TCU might be the dark horse at this point.
Let's hope winter sets in kind of early and Arizona State is in for a rude awakening when they come up. And
as it stands right now, they're currently favored for the rest of their games, right?
TCU.
TCU
is the only one that they're not favored.
I think so. I mean, as far as like the ESPN predictor goes.
Cool. All right, let's get into local news. Americana has announced that they are closing after being open for 14 years. I think one of the most notorious brunch spots that we've had in the Des Moines area. He cited the changing in the downtown environment. I think what he means in that is just downtown is getting less traffic, and there's a lot more brunch spots open downtown now. Kind of known for its location. I mean, have you guys all been there before?
Nope.
Never been to Americana? Tyler?
I think I saw Jake Arrieta there, but I don't know.
Like the other day?
No, it was probably 7 years ago, and I was there with my family, and I look over, and it looked like him, but I didn't know because I was like, I don't know what that would have been. Would have been like 13. And then I look it up, and he had a start for the Iowa Cubs. He was on like a rehab or something. So I think I saw Jake Arrieta.
You have a beard?
Yeah, he had the beard and everything.
Dang, he used to be so good. Yes, I've been there multiple times. That was like a staple of ours. Whenever friends would come from out of town and stay with us on the weekend, we'd go there on Saturday morning usually and go absolutely berserk.
Bottomless mimosas, man. It's hard to beat.
Bottomless everything.
Yeah.
Right there at that bar at the end, they used to have that grilled cheese station.
Yep.
Custom make a grilled cheese. I'd usually get one of those and wrap it in a napkin and take it home with me. That was usually my lunch for the day. That's kind of the tradition. But yeah, Americana was awesome. But I can when it first opened, when it first became popular, that's like when brunching and all that really became popular. And ever since then, like you said, there's just been more and more spots to open. I think people have kind of moved to like brunch spots that are more similar to like a St. Kilda or I don't know, a little bit more upscale meals. Whereas Americana, I'm pretty sure you could order off a menu. I never did. I always went for the buffet.
I never went there when they didn't have the buffet.
Yeah, same. So I just know the place for the buffet and, your real traditional breakfast food and lots of it and a little bit more. So that combined with competition from other restaurants and people shifting to like avocado toast.
And I think the whole I don't think they got the same amount of traffic after COVID too. I mean, because that kind of killed buffets for a little while. I didn't even know he also owns Gilroy's, which kind of leads us into our next topic. What is currently your favorite brunch spot? Brady, you want to start?
I'm not a huge brunch guy, honestly. I think I've had brunch like 3 times in my life, but
He's not legally. Once you are legally able to drink mimosas and Bloody Marys, all of a sudden you become a brunch guy.
Okay. I'm looking forward to it. But I mean, breakfast kind of place. I like homegrown.
Yeah, homegrown is really, really legit. If that's the place you were gonna say, Tyler?
It's not. That's a really good spot. My all-time favorite brunch spot is the Library on University by Drake.
Okay. I have never actually been to their brunch.
It can fit like 7 people in there. It's super small. It's got dust on the tables and stuff, but it adds to it. It's so good. The French toast is the best French toast. And this isn't an exaggeration. Their French toast is the best French toast I've ever had.
Okay. So, Andrew.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I had brunch. We used to go to the Des Moines Golf and Country Club when I was little. For their buffet. That was really, really good. I've been to Breakfast Club. Breakfast was good. I think it's way overpriced.
The only thing I really loved there when I went there last time was their drinks, to be totally honest. The food's just all right. Like,
yeah, I mean, breakfast food is probably my favorite food of all time. But I have a hard time spending $9 on 2 eggs. Like, it's in my head. I just can't do that kind of stuff. So
Denny's is your spot.
Ryder and I went to Perkins Black Friday, and they had like the $5 meal or whatever. In the summer, I was taking all the kids different days to get breakfast, and we went to Perkins, and they took that off the menu. So then we ended up spending like $13 each on breakfast. But there's a place by my house actually. It's called the Perk Up Cafe, and it's like a diner from the 90s.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's really good. So that was, I mean, just in terms of breakfast food, that's where we go.
Cool. I'm going to mention some Valley Junction places. I think.
Hold up. Let me see if I would knock one off of the list. Eggs and Jam.
Heck yes.
That's probably the most unique breakfast spot in Des Moines. People don't really put 2 and 2 together what Eggs and Jam is until they get in there, but then they're greeted by hip hop music and spray paint and stuff like that. It's a pretty cool vibe in there too.
They're always playing the best music. They have really, really cool drinks. I don't think I've ever been disappointed by anything I order on their menu. I don't think it's on the pricier side, but it's definitely not as expensive as like Breakfast Club and some other places.
Andrew, you should go there. It has a lot of references to your green Mustang rap listening days on the menu.
I never had a green Mustang.
Yeah, you did. What color was it? Gray.
I had
kind of green. It had a green tint to it.
I had a Ford. That Ford Contour was green.
Oh, Ford Mustang Contour green.
And then if you do want the whole all-you-can-eat type of vibe, Gilroy's still does. They don't do a buffet, but they do like a family-style all-you-can-eat type of deal, and it's a pretty good time if you have a good group of friends together. Everything that they have on that menu is very, very solid. So that Gilroy's was the other spot I was going to mention. Tyler, I think you need to talk about this listing and kind of give us the story because it sounds like you already sold it.
Yeah. So this place, 2420 33rd Street, is my favorite house in the world. It's a house that we own, and we listed it Tuesday night, and it's sold already with a few offers. But I think kind of the story of this house can be encouraging for homeowners. We bought this house in 2020, and we bought it in a way where I already owned a house at the time, and my then fiance, now wife, Hannah, bought this house in her name, which allowed us to keep my property for a little bit that I was already living in and then move into this house. No problem at all. And then a couple years later, allowed me to buy this house that I'm in right now in my own name without having to sell that house, just because we kind of took turns buying the houses. So if you're someone that's in a serious relationship, plan on being with your person forever, that's something you can look at doing it so you can kind of keep debt off of one person's books in a way, and allows you to live in a house, own it, build some equity, and then move out, turn it into a rental, and buy a new house without needing to sell the first one. So that's what we did here. We lived in here from 2020 to 2022-ish, and then moved into this house that we're in now. Lots of updates to it. That kitchen is brand new. That was a big deal. Where that sink is now, that used to be where that other little window is. The appliances were all stitched around. There was like a wall, like in the bottom right-hand corner of that kitchen picture. So that was a big ordeal, having that renovated.
Is that a renovation you did when you guys were living in it?
Yeah. Yep. We renovated the bathroom, all that stuff while we were living there, and then made a handful of other upgrades while we were living there. But right before we sold it, tenants moved out. They kind of beat it up. I knew we wanted to sell it. We probably could have listed it and got, somewhat close to this number, $219.90 or $220,000 basically. Maybe came up a little bit short, but I do think if we would have just listed it how it was, maybe even after a clean, it would have, been on the market for a couple weeks. However, I had a painter come in, who she's great. If you're in need of a painter, I highly recommend, and I can set you up with her. And she painted the whole main level just white. Everything is white in there now. It was like a gray and white. I came in and swapped out the last of some light fixtures and kind of updated those. Did a really, really deep clean. Had a handyman come in, and there was probably like a 10 list punch list type of thing, 10 item punch list thing that he came through and knocked out. There was a window that wasn't working. I got that fixed. And then I staged it, had it cleaned, and then got really, really good photos of it. And because of that, and because I feel like I was pretty accurate with the price, and, I had to, stuff like this is good for an agent to experience, because you kind of get put in your seller's shoes to where, when I would look at comps, there were some comps that say I probably could have listed for 235. Now at that same tone, there was comps that says that it should be like 205. So I think it was important for me to understand that I'm looking at a range of comps, and that I can't just, because it makes me feel better, it makes me more money, I can't just lean towards the upper end of comps because there's one or two examples of a house selling for that. I took into consideration the range of comps, the lower price ones and the higher price runs, and arrived at my number. Got 3 offers. All of them were really, really close, and all of them were right around list price, and all of them knew about each other. So to me, that makes me feel pretty confident in choosing 220 as the list price. Ended up selling for a couple grand above that, but everything was really, really close. I was thinking, I would probably get multiple offers on it, and if I was far off on price, that the multiple offers would drive that price up to like 230 or something like that, and that didn't happen. So obviously the people didn't think they loved it a ton, but they didn't think it was worth that much. So that kind of made me feel good about my ability to price a home. And I think because of the extra steps that were added, it created a lot of interest really quick. And that interest from the other parties put pressure on the other parties to also act fast. And because of those multiple offers, the buyer is going to have an inspection, but they agreed to make it for their knowledge only. They originally came to me with like a 2-month closing date, which wasn't preferred. I would have made it work, but because of the other offers and garnering up enough attention, they reduced that to a month. So got a little bit over asking price on for the price, inspection as is. So hopefully I'm not having to come out of my pocket any more than I already have, and I close in a month on it. So again, all in all, I think obviously it's a cute house and Beaverdale brick and all of that thing, but I definitely put in the time and effort. I have poison ivy on my eye from the time and effort I put into this house. And I immediately saw, I was immediately able to reap the benefits or the blessings that came with the little bit of hard work. I wasn't satisfied with, because again, I think I probably could have listed it for 215 or 212 or something like that as is, but I came through and cleaned it up. Took a little bit of effort, but I'm very satisfied with the end result as we sit right now.
Well, I think the lesson there too is like you did the right stuff before you listed it. and you listed it at a realistic price. Because if you would have done what you were talking about and listed it at that 234.9, you maybe would have gotten the same exact people through, but probably only one of them maybe would have offered. And it wouldn't have been the terms that you were talking about that you got there that just make you feel so much more comfortable with the fact that it's going to close. It's going to close on a timeline that you like. And I mean, you listed it on Monday,
Tuesday,
and you sold it on sold it on Wednesday.
Yeah, yes.
Right?
Yes. I would also say one thing too that kind of makes me feel good about where I'm sitting now. And obviously this is a different relationship because I'm also the seller and the agent here. But I was as transparent as can be with stuff that wasn't right in the house. So the person buying the house is well aware of everything, and I think they feel comfortable with it. Now, granted, there's not a ton of stuff, and there's nothing that is huge or anything like that because I would have fixed it. But there is this old house, almost 100 years old, so obviously there's some stuff that quote unquote isn't perfect or whatever. They know about all of that. I over disclosed instead of under disclosed, so I know that I feel very confident that I'll be able to just wash my hands of this once the deal goes through, and I won't have to worry about them coming back to me saying I lied about stuff or didn't tell them about things or anything like that. So I think that's another lesson in terms of just having your sanity and just, not having anxiety about it. For sellers out there, I know, especially in an older home, it's easy to be like, that was just a small thing that we took care of 4 years ago. Just tell them. Most people, they understand that they're buying an old house and that there's going to be old house things that come with the house. And if they don't, you're probably not someone you want to work with anyways. So kind of over disclosing and having people be okay with that over disclosure, I think sets you up in a position to have a pretty smooth transaction because it just takes away some barriers or hurdles that need to be jumped over in the middle of the deal.
And I think that's another big reason that we really, really suggest pre-listing inspections too, because sometimes owners don't really have like the knowledge that you have, Tyler, as far as like the condition of the home. So just having a third party come in and kind of give a report on what's working right, what's not working right, and then having a third party report that you could give to a potential buyer, it just really eases their mind. It gives people a peace of mind. That's why we always suggest that. And the last few times I've done it, it's gotten me offers that are exactly like what you got. And the inspection was just for buyer's knowledge only, or they didn't even do an inspection. And then because that inspection is, Brady, Tyler, you can probably agree with me on this. It's once you get the offer accepted, it's probably the most stressful part before close.
Yeah.
Like,
and with a house like this, like with it being an old house, like if the same two issues pop up on a 2015 house and a 1940s house.
Real quick, someone just walked into our office and they said, "Where's Thomas Minert?" And I said, "He's on a podcast with us."
Who is it?
It's National Ice Cream Float Day.
Let's go. Who brought that for me?
So Dupaco brought in.
Oh, let's go. Do we have a freezer in the office?
Yeah, because you never come in here. There's a fridge in the break room, big giant fridge with a freezer. So, anyways, shout out Dupaco. It says National Root Beer Float Day. That is actually August 6th. So, anyways, we'll take it. We're literally going to take this. Eat it.
Okay.
It's funny. One last thing I would like to add about this listing. Again, I had several handymans through Great Painter. I met a new handyman that is going to replace our old handyman, who seems to be much more reliable, and I'm looking forward to kind of recommending him to clients that are needing some work done. But Brady Holland's boy, Parker, came through and took care of the lawn. The lawn was looking rough. It looked like, if no one knew and you were to look at the exterior of the house, you would think the interior of the house was needed a renovation type of thing.
Thomas, call Parker.
weeds overgrown. The
Like
tree was laying on top of the roof. Because of that, there's tons of tree debris. There's gutter guards on the gutters. Those are overflowing with gunk in there. And again, gutter guards are supposed to keep gunk out, but when you neglect them, like I did for a little bit, I guess they get filled. But Parker with PK Outdoor Solutions came through, and I thought for a very reasonable price. By no means was it the cheapest, but I didn't want the cheapest because that usually means they do bad work. But very reasonable and fair price. He came when he said he was going to come, and he got done when he said he was going to get done. And we worked out another mow in between now and closing. So hopefully I don't need to make another call about this house and the maintenance that goes into it and that type of thing. So if you're looking for some outdoor solutions, not just lawn mowing and not just the stuff that I mentioned, they do a lot more. But they can definitely do like yard debris cleanup type of stuff, which not every person that you call to mow your lawn is willing to do. They were getting dirty. Again, I walked away with poison ivy from doing a little bit of the work. I don't think that happened to them. So call a professional, call PK Outdoor Solutions.
Yeah, I would just add, I mean, you kind of touched on it, Thomas. Tyler did the things that, he needed to do. He did the things that we talk about all the time with our suite of services. Like Tyler literally put his money where his mouth was and did the work. I mean, he could have had this listed a couple of weeks ago if he just wanted to throw it on the market. But he put time into it, put money into it, and he got a home that, and he was realistic too on pricing. To his point, he maybe could have got more, but he got favorable terms on his offer, which is usually better than more money. I would say 9 times out of 10, because you get stronger offers, and so and one of them being the inspection for buyer's knowledge only, a quicker close, and then in 30 some days, 40 days, it's no longer Tyler's. As sad as that is, because that's the home that Isaiah came home to. So I know that's a special home. Yeah, I know that's a special home, but yeah, I mean, and it just goes to show too. I mean, they put money into it with that kitchen and the bathroom and that kind of stuff. But just with a little time and money, you're going to make money on real estate. So it's always a good investment.
The only question I had, Tyler, as kind of a follow-up on how the whole process went, and I think this is much more interesting because you're actually the owner of the home. Did you have any thoughts of not accepting an offer until Sunday?
Yeah, kind of. But I think me being an agent came into play, and I know how I get annoyed as an agent when those parameters get put on my people, especially like midweek like that, because then they're kind of tied down and they're not able to look at other stuff, and they're sitting there wondering, waiting what's going to happen and that type of thing. So I got an offer right away within like an hour of it being listed, and I told them to wait like 36 hours until yesterday at 8 p.m. So that was enough wait for me. I mean, I definitely considered it, but again, 3 offers right around the same price. I felt content with it. Again, I think I'm also a big believer in like keeping everybody's vibes high and in good spirits, and everyone working well together. And I think the more time, like if I were to come back and wait basically a week to respond to this offer, I'd imagine the buyer would be kind of annoyed with me and would maybe make a bigger deal about things throughout the transaction than they needed to. But instead, everything's done now and handled and all that stuff. So yeah.
Brady, you have any questions for Tyler about how the process went?
Not really. I mean, it sounds like we've been preaching since we started the podcast to everyone. I mean, pre-listing inspections are going to help you out, and then doing the work that when there's something wrong with the house, just figuring it out, updating a little bit, it's going to make you more money in the long run, and especially pricing.
And setting it at a realistic list price too.
Exactly, yeah, and pricing it where it needs to be priced. I mean, you can price it $20,000 more and maybe make more money, but you're also going to be paying interest for all the months that it sits on the market and everything like that. So,
I would say too, this is a good example. And again, I'm able to say this because it's my house. Like, there's only so much you can do to a house. At the end of the day, this house on this assessor site is 850 square feet. There's like 100 square feet that's not accounted for. So really, it's a 950 square foot, 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom home. The basement can't be finished because it's 6'5" down there. There's only so much to this house that I could have done. You know, even if I would have refinished the floors and, you know, did everything was brand new in the house. The house at the end of the day was still at 900 square feet and had 2 bedrooms and, you know, 1 bathroom on the main level. So I could have gone the other way and gone extreme with the updates and all that stuff all the way throughout the house and still been left with no choice but to list it at 230 because, again, the house is a 2-bedroom small house.
I think Banks just ran upstairs to poop on your chair again.
Better not. He's all healed now. Dude, we got some stuff going on over here, man. Everybody's messed up.
Okay. I hope this next segment isn't going to be stupid. And if it is stupid, you guys should just tell me right to my face. I was thinking about this morning, and I wanted to talk about it. I want to go back to my roots a little bit and talk about the job I did before this, which Andrew and Tyler know because that's how you guys met me. I worked in retail. I worked at Shields for 10 years before I did real estate. So I still have 2.5 years before I've been doing real estate longer than I ended up working at Shields. It also helps that I started working at Shields when I turned 16. So, but when I started managing product and displaying product to sell, they would often talk about the 4 P's of retail. And I think every single one of them matches up perfectly with looking at listing a home and marketing a home and selling a home. So I'm going to walk through the 4 P's of retail, and you guys tell me if I'm crazy if these don't line up perfectly. So the first thing that they would always talk about is product, making sure you have the right things in. When Iowa goes 12-0 in 2015, you need more Iowa gear and you need the good, right Iowa gear. So product in the real estate world would be your home and what kind of condition your home is in and just the straight stats of it, right? Like you have a ranch that's a 3-bed, 2-bath ranch with a 2-car attached garage. Like that's your product, right? And then they would always talk about price as well. In the retail world, everything has an MSRP. That's the price that it comes in at. So the price is set. In the real estate world, it's a conversation between your listing agent and the owner as far as what the price is going to be set at. We just had a long conversation about price. Tyler's situation was very, very easy because he is both the owner and the listing agent. But at the end of the day, the owner gets to decide what they get to list their home at. But no matter what, if you have a product that is priced too high, it is not going to sell. And the same thing would apply in the real estate world. And then if these both things in Shields' opinion were good and the thing wasn't selling still, it would come down to these other 2 P's. This P, unfortunately, in the real estate world, you can't really change unless you're thinking about it in a different way, which I'll get to, but they were talking about placement. So in the retail world, typically your best placement is right at the entrance of the store, your end caps. Shields has that beautiful tree that has stuff designed all around it right in front. That is one of the best places to be in the store because everyone that walks through that store sees that. So therefore, if it's in that place and it's at a good price and it's a good product, you will sell a ton of that product. You could kind of think of placement too. Yep.
That's the perfect. Dude, that is funny as heck. I was literally right. That's crazy. As he was saying that, I was thinking about that display. That is funny.
I work on my handles when I take a break.
Yeah, that is funny as can be because that display's almost got me a couple of times, and I already have like 2 of those type of balls that almost got me too.
If you think about this in a more, I mean, you could talk about location when you're talking about placement. You can't pick up your house and move it. Obviously, we talk about people that with places all the time, but you could also talk about how many different places is your real estate agent advertising your home, and are they using a different variety of those advertisements so people see your home listed. But I would also argue that this falls into the other P, which is presentation. So they would always talk about, with presentation, are you displaying this item in a way so people can see how they would use it? So with clothing, they would be talking about putting it on a mannequin and what that item would go with. That basketball
on a swole mannequin.
Yeah.
No, not dad bod mannequins.
The Under Armour mannequins were always more jacked than the Nike mannequins, and I always thought that was interesting. Anyways,
Under Armour. Think about the.
I believe that basketball that Brady just showed at one point in time on that display, they had a video showing people use that. And I also believe that they always had one of those out of the packaging so kids could annoyingly grab it and throw it somewhere else. But they would get to use it. And that was always talking about presentation and how people can use it. So when presentation falls on listings, you would be talking about one of the things we always do with listings that are with basically all of our listings. Tyler, I don't think you had a chance to post one for your personal home, but like videos. That's where we talk about how people would use the home. They could start seeing themselves living in the home. And we could talk into more details about what we like about the home as well, too. I would also argue presentation could fall into staging. It could fall into cleaning, having professional photos done as well. What do you guys think? The 4 Ps, does it fall perfectly into real estate?
I think all 4 are important, but I would like make the 4 Ps into one word. Like, I think they all are so intertwined in real estate because, for instance, like the placement thing, like that in real estate, if we're talking location, that's a more than anything directly related to price of the product. You know what I mean? So in hindsight, if you get those first three Ps down, product, price, and placement, maybe your presentation doesn't even matter in terms of list. Like, for instance, like you said, I mean, I did post a couple posts, but it was literally just because I paid Marquis for the content. So you best believe I'm going to get it out and post it, but I didn't need to.
Well, and they would always talk about too, it shields like these 4 things.
You don't need to display the Air Monarch, that thing,
right?
Because of the product and the price, people are going to come get it regardless.
Right. But if it's a good product that has great placement and is presented well, but the price isn't right, it's probably not going to sell.
Right.
So the argument would be that price. These are all very, very important, but
they all work together.
Price is your most important thing.
Yeah, like I remember when I first started working at shoes, they had those meta runs. And I remember when I first started. Do you remember that shoe?
Yeah.
The Nike? The Metcon?
It was an ASIC.
It was an ASICs.
Yeah, it was like their high-end crowd.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it had
like
that stupid gel heel.
The Kayano combined $280 or whatever. I remember when I first worked there, Lane had out a big display, you know, with a bunch of signage that was brought in by A6 to try to sell this thing. And never once did I sell it. As soon as it got like moved off that main display, because that display wasn't going to be the reason it sold. If anything, that display made people probably look at that shoe as they're walking by the shoe section and be like, all right, these people are charging an arm and a leg for a shoe. Let's go to Payless to get our shoes. The only time I sold those shoes when they weren't on display anywhere, and it was a specific customer coming in asking if we happen to have a meta run, you know. So like, yes, again, sometimes that presentation and how it's displayed in retail, you can do everything imaginable, but if that price isn't lining up, it doesn't really matter. So for instance, like to defend ourselves, a client of ours could come in and say, we want to list for $400, even though the house $400,000, even though the house is worth $300,000, and they say, you guys are real estate agents, that's what we're hiring you for, is to get our price. We can only do so much stuff, it does not matter what we do. People aren't going to pay $400,000 for that house. You know what I mean?
Right. And every time someone makes a decision to buy something, once they're aware of the item, which is when that placement and presentation comes into line, like it builds awareness. After that, it's just a question of what is the product and how much does it cost? Like, is this a good product? Is it worth what they're asking? So with that ASIC shoe that you're talking about, it wasn't a very good shoe. Like, I think they made 2 runs of it and then they gave up on that shoe because the price they were trying to ask for how good of a shoe it was just didn't align.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it was a good shoe, but it wasn't. It was as good as a $160 Kayano versus 280 or whatever it was. You know,
were they trying to mimic Hoka? Was that kind of what they were going for a little bit?
I think it was like one of those original, like, it wasn't the same technology, but you know, these carbon fiber Pegasus that you see. It was just one of these like high performance for the elite athlete, blah 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 blah. But the elite athlete sometimes could run barefoot because they're elite, you know.
Right. Brady, what do you think?
I mean, yeah, to me, it all sounds like it lines up. I don't think anything was out of the ordinary there.
Is that basketball the last time that you got suckered in by a really good in-cap display at a store?
Probably not.
Oh, actually, I got the last time that I was suckered into something on an in-cap display. What is that?
Quit playing with that boy. He's growing up.
Was that TJ? Was that TJ Maxx?
Nah, Target. It was right on the front. I also got. Oh, let me show you guys this.
Dude, funny
you ran up screen.
Yeah, Brady is big on what is that, Thomas? Oreos.
Oh, that looks good.
See, that's not an end cap thing. Those
were displayed right in Hy-Vee when I walked in the other day.
Man, I probably saw Sydney Sweeney eating one of those Oreos.
This is pink lemonade toothpaste.
Oh God, you were just talking about this the other day.
Oh, hold it up again.
Brady, I'm so proud of you for brushing your teeth.
Dude, you're a chick.
Finally.
No,
you're a chick that shaves his face. Oh, he's both.
That's crazy. Listen,
Andrew, when's the last time you fell for an in-cap display?
I was honestly trying to think. I mean, I always get gum or like mints.
No, the type of display that gets Andrew is the ones at Costco where the product is all put together and it says 10.97.
Yeah, or last one, and I don't have to put it together.
That's what gets Andrew.
Then I don't have to put it together.
There could be a whole child there, and he'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna get this." I'll have 5 kids now.
Tyler,
I'm a fun shopper. I'll put it like that. People like going shopping with me. I think Hannah enjoys going shopping with me because I'll buy stuff.
This goes into the placement conversation too, because this is becoming more and more popular since I've worked in retail. Have any of you guys bought a product that was advertised to you on Instagram or TikTok?
I bought an aerator for my yard.
Okay. Brady, I know you got one.
I didn't buy it directly off of Instagram, but I saw it off Instagram. It was a baseball-specific mouth guard. It's actually scientifically proven.
Why do a baseball player need a different mouth guard?
I don't know. It's not like a mouth guard. It's like a
concentration thing.
Yeah. And it's like if you know Harrison Bader for the Philadelphia Phillies, he wears one. And he was on the Yankees at the time, and I was a Yankees fan. Yeah. But it seemed to work.
I could see how that would work.
I was swinging harder, but
yeah. I mean, the gimmick of this is for baseball only is the sales pitch, but I could definitely see where a mouth guard could make you kind of lock in. I mean, Steph Curry, for instance, he's not wearing a mouth guard because it protects his teeth. He chews on it out of his mouth for half the game.
Exactly. That was probably like the only Instagram thing I've had.
I've bought some clothing. Usually like Tall. Like American Tall is a company that I buy clothes from. I don't
like to let Facebook or TikTok know that their advertisements work. So whenever I see an item, I don't click on that link. I go to Google and Google the item.
This dude goes to the dark web on his other computer.
I don't like to let them know that advertisements work. Except for Amazon. I have an Amazon dot in my house, and I talk about products in front of it, and then they get advertised to me.
What if you found out that someone really wanted to use you as a real estate agent because they came across your sponsored ad on Instagram and was like, you know what, this Thomas guy, he's not going to get me with his advertisement. I'm going to call someone else. How'd that make you feel?
I was saying that I still use the product, but I don't click on that link.
Someone could still use the services presented by a realtor.
That's fair.
But not via that link.
They better just reach out to me. I think that's the best solution. Guys, unless you have
one last thing I wanted to talk about. Iowa State will hopefully be 4-0 before Brady's Notre Dame Irish play a second game. That is insane.
Do they play Texas A&M Saturday night?
That if there's ever been an FBS team that's 4-0, while another one is 1-0.
0-1, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, sorry, 0-1. So Iowa State will have won 4 games before Notre Dame wins a single game.
It's true.
That's
and
wild.
we might.
There's a chance. And they might be 5-0. No, I guess not because they have a bye week. But
if Notre Dame doesn't win,
yeah.
Andrew, I'm going to count on you to know this. Did USF end up getting ranked?
Yeah, they're 18th.
Okay, good. I was going to ask what the last team to beat 2 ranked teams and not be ranked was.
And they play at Miami, number 5.
They're not going to beat Miami.
Miami look good. Say what you want. They look good.
Yeah, says the Notre Dame guy.
Well, I thought we look good too. You don't think Miami look good, those receivers?
The saddest thing about Miami is like how good, imagine if Iowa or Iowa State had that football program and those resources and that like history, how crazy Iowa City and Ames would be. And Miami is treated like Grandview University is in Des Moines or something.
Well, it's not that big of a school, is it?
What, USF?
No, Miami.
I don't know. But just in terms of they don't have home field advantage.
No, yeah, they don't have a lot of fans show up.
They play in a stadium isn't it like an hour away from their campus even to Dolphin Stadium. It's just kind of crazy that and everything that surrounds that you would think would be like one of these places that has like an entertainment district around there.
Florida is really weird as far as their universities because, as far as undergraduates go, do you know what the biggest university in Florida is?
Is that Florida International?
It's Central Florida. It's UCF.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They have a huge campus and they have a ton of kids get in, but the teams that are good at sports are a lot of the smaller ones. Because Florida State's their undergraduate's actually not that big. Florida's is really big. But then Miami is just not as big as you would think. But Miami, big bounce back for Miami this year. I think they're going to have a good season. So, but that's it. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Go ahead and look at that description and click on our link tree if you want to follow us on a whole bunch of different places.
I think I'm going to clip my little rant about Hawks sucking. I'm going to post that on Instagram today. I think that'll get some engagement.
We could get that figured out. Yeah, we can post that and see what kind of nice comments we get. Everyone.
I think where things stand right now, only the most ridiculous of Iowa fans would disagree with me.
Yeah. One, I just think general right now.
To the level I took it, but
in general right now on social media, people are being very level-headed and nice to each other. So I think it's a good time to post something like that. So, thank you guys for watching.